But where I'm going to maybe add some more information is in this custom warning title and message. So the custom warning title and message will appear on that pop-up. This works really well if, for example, there's an internal policy that we want to reference, maybe just some general guidance or just generally language that really lands with the end user, which is going to get their attention. And like I say, get them to think, is this something that I should be sending? So this can be customized as you see fit. But like I say, those links work really well with getting the end user to think twice. We now also have the ability to add in custom headers. So let's think about, this isn't the only tool that you may have in place. You may want to start triggering downstream tooling, which could then require further action. So some of the main use cases that we see for the custom header piece, there's a few different ones in play. So just to name the most common ones that we see, you may want to start triggering a manager approval flow. So you could have a transport rule that reads the header and then routes to Power Automate for approval flow. You may even want to start triggering purview policies. So you could signal to purview to apply sensitivity labels, for example. You might even want to consider triggering CRM automation. So again, dependent on the CRM connector that could read the mail, but thinking, tools like Salesforce, for example. Or the most common one that we do here since joining Proofpoint, of course, is if you do have Proofpoint secure email gateway in place, you ultimately don't want to create a situation where maybe you are double flagging. So you could either look at avoiding that, or you could even go the other way and combine it with email DLP. So back to Angela's point of really being able to augment those tools together and get them working really well. So that ultimately enables us to skip the scanning if the header indicates that AEDLP has already checked the email, or it could look at triggering a deeper content scan to check additional libraries, for example. And then lastly, we have notifications. So we have compliance alerts. Now, I wouldn't suggest having a compliance alert on every single policy that we have here, because of course that inbox is probably going to get inundated with a lot of emails. But where this could work really well is the leavers policy that I mentioned. So if I had £1 for every time that I speak with a customer that says, yes, somebody's left the organization and they exfiltrated a lot of data that AEDLP did see, but as part of our workflow processes, we didn't see it until a couple of days after they'd actually left. Could this have potentially have helped reduce that gap? Possibly. So where we suggest including this is in that leavers policy so that you are notified as soon as that happens in the moment. And it just means that you can actually take action then versus that person leaving the business and it maybe just been a little bit more difficult to manage. So hindsight's a brilliant thing, but I think this definitely helps with reducing those frustrating moments that I'm sure everyone has experienced one way or another. So all in all, that's very much how I suggest layering. You've got the 3 different policies. One thing I will mention, because you're probably thinking, gosh, have I got to do this all by hand? Have I got to do this manually? No, the good news is that all of the policies that I've got here, 1, 2, and 3, already exist in the library. So we already have templates exactly as I've laid out that you could look at implementing. If you'd like to test them out first, no problem at all. We could maybe set them up to silently track, and that's where we could maybe move into that warn state if it makes sense to. But all of the policies that I've described do live here. Now, whilst I do mention the libraries, and obviously we are talking about DLP in general, these 2 modules aren't the only functionalities behind the tool. So we do also look at other DLP use cases. But whenever I say that to a customer, they think, I don't know until something goes wrong. So these libraries could serve as a way of thinking, what other ways could I get value from this tool? So I'd always suggest that if there is a specific use case that you did have in mind, let's discuss it. So you can contact your account manager, we can schedule a call and we can just run through what's actually possible and if it is something that AEDLP could help you with.